How you doing, everybody? You already know who this is, you already know where you at. But if you don't know, this is Adam's Theory, and I'm your host, Adam, also known as the Hater 2814. Now, today's show, a good friend of mine's inspired me to do it. And I do listen to the viewers. This show is called The Breakup. That's right. You know, in relationships, breaking up is the hardest thing to do. It's the worst part of a relationship. But to every beginning, there also comes an end. So right now with this show, we're going to go over the different ways of breaking up with somebody, the pros and cons, and how effective they are. Now, the first way to break up with somebody, we're going to talk about face-to-face. I'm going to start with this one because this seems to be everyone's favorite way of doing it. Not even favorite, it's the ideal way of doing it. It's the way that I think people want to be broken up with, but I don't think that they at times have the courage to actually do it themselves. Now, breaking up with someone face to face does take a lot of courage and heart, because you got to see the person's reaction. You got to hear their crying, their pleading, their moaning, and it's very difficult to do that, especially if you care about the person. Because even though you are breaking up with them, you do care about them. It's just that the relationship isn't working. So if you break up with them, there's usually a couple ways that you could do it. You could either break up with them in a private setting or a public setting. If you do it in a public setting, you're doing this because you're afraid of how the person is going to react. And you're hoping that if you do it in a restaurant, a park, or somewhere there's a lot of people, that this person won't go totally crazy. Sometimes it works, and sometimes you just get yourself embarrassed. You could also do it in private. The only thing is that if you do it in private, I would kind of recommend that you do it in like their house, just in case you got someone that likes to throw stuff, so that way they only throw their stuff and not your stuff. You know, you don't want no one breaking your TV. You'd rather them break their own TV. Now, the next method of breaking up with somebody is the phone. Now, everybody has a cell phone nowadays. And if you don't have a cell phone, you must be a caveman or woman. But breaking up with the phone has its advantages and disadvantages. Okay? Now, when you break up with the phone, it's almost like face-to-face, because you are giving the person who you're trying to break up with the option to try to counter your argument. Because anytime when you break up with somebody, you have such a good speech of why you're trying to break up with them and how much it hurts you. So you're giving the person the option to try to counter it, to try to bring forth a stronger argument to keep you guys together. That's how, when you do it face to face. When you try to break up with the person over the telephone, you're giving them that same option. Okay? In fact, sometimes breaking up face to face and over the telephone isn't really effective, because even though you're breaking up with the person and you want to leave, you still care about them. You still love them. And seeing them cry face to face is just as bad as hearing them cry over the telephone. So sometimes you back down. Sometimes you back out of it. Sometimes you just say, no, I don't want to. So because of that, I want to go into another form of how to break up with someone, and that's over the text message. Now, I know that nobody wants to get a Dear John text or Dear Jamie text. It's really, no one cares about that. It's really, texting is very impersonal. It is. It's just as bad as a letter, which I will get into more later on. But with texting, damn, man, you just send out a message. It could be really impersonal. However, it gets the job done. You text the person, you send them a message, and that's it. Yes, the person is going to is going to try to blow up your phone. Yes, the person may respond back, but you got your point across. The next form of breakups we're going to talk about is the famous Dear John letter. Now, personally, I feel this. If you could write somebody, you could text them. So what's really the difference between writing someone a letter and texting? When you write them a letter, you are putting more effort into it. You are taking the time to find a scrap of paper and to write everything out. Or, since we live in the age of technology, we could go and type it up on Microsoft Word and print it out. But at the same time, even though it may look a little bit better, you're still doing it in words. You're still, I mean, when you write a letter, writing a letter goes in the same category as texting or doing it through an email. It goes through the same category. I mean, hell, you might as well inbox it, give them a message on Facebook and inbox it. And since we're on the topic of Facebook, we're going to talk about Facebook. Breaking up with somebody on Facebook. All right, no. I mean, I know that we live in a social media age, and we do a lot on, Facebook, MySpace, and all these other sites. However, I'm like this. I think that if you're going to break up with someone, you don't do it on somebody's wall. Hopefully no one is that insensitive or stupid to do that. But at the same time, if you don't do, all right, you're not doing it on someone's Facebook wall, so that's great. However, you put it on someone, you give someone a message and put it in their inbox. Isn't that the same way as doing it through a text message? Isn't that the same way as doing it through a letter or email? At the end of the day, you are taking the time to write it out. At the same time, you're trying to avoid the big confrontation of the breakup. So you're choosing this option. It's just that it's Facebook. And because it's so new, we think that it's so bad. But if you could write somebody a letter, if you could text somebody, then you could break up with them on Facebook. I mean, hell, you could actually go and change your status to relationship to single and have them find out that way. It's just as bad. Now the next one, I know you guys are gonna find quite funny, but I put it here for a reason. The next way to break up with someone is space. Now I know that you think that, well, if you guys are saying that you guys want space, it's not really a breakup. Yes, it is. People ask for space for one or two reasons. A, they want to do something and they want to feel good. Pretty much they want space because they want to do something else on the side and not feel bad about it. Or they want to ease into the breakup. It's a lot easier to break up with somebody if you have space and stop speaking to them for like a week or two. And then after that week or two, go up to them and say, listen, after, so and so amount of time, I thought about it and I don't think it'll work out. That's a tactic of what space is used for. Now, space, it's dragging the process out. It's prolonging the agony. Okay? It's like giving someone a tranquilizer before you before you give them the kill shot. Okay? Some people say that, just be a man or be mature about it and just do it. But, that's what space is used for. Alright, I have one more. There's another way that you could break up with somebody. You don't have to tell them. You don't got to tell them that you're sick of what they're doing. You don't got to tell them that, you're not happy. You don't have to tell them that you found somebody else. This form of breaking up is called cheating. It's something that a lot of people do. I think it's one of the most popular ways to break up with somebody. Yes, nobody wants to be cheated on, but yet we cheat all the time. Because, when you cheat on a person, why are you cheating on them? Sometimes people cheat because it's available, and that's just what they want to do. They're not ready for a relationship. So because of that, instead of breaking up with the person and saying, hey, I'm not ready for a relationship, I still want to go and have my fun, they cheat. And cheating is breaking up with the person. Or you have another relationship on the side because your number one, the person that you're in your main relationship with, isn't satisfying you mentally, sexually, emotionally. So you try to get that with somebody else. In my opinion, I would think that this would be the worst. It's worse than doing it over the text. It's worse than doing it over a phone. It's worse than finding out on Facebook and having it posted on your wall. Because this person did not have the respect enough for you to actually tell you in your face. Unfortunately, it's done all the time. Why? Maybe because we don't have the courage to actually do it. Maybe because Really don't know. Well, those are my theories on different ways to break up with them. Now, personally, the best way that I feel to break up with somebody is face to face. However, I am aware how hard it is. I've been on both sides of the fence. Okay? So I know that when you try to break up with somebody face to face, it can be difficult because you want to do it, but the person's begging, the person's pleading, and it turns a 5 to 10 minute conversation and it turns into an hour and a half to 2 hours. So because of that, you try to go and find different ways to break up with the person. All right? And that could be through a letter, that could be through an email. I feel this way. If you're gonna go through the other methods, at least try to do it face to face. At least give it that effort. You know, if you tried it once or twice and it really just doesn't work out, or you feel that if you do try to do it face to face and the person's just gonna find a way to bring you back into it, and you feel like you're in an unhealthy relationship, then maybe the letter over the phone would be the best way. All right. Well, that's the show, guys. Hope you guys like it. Please, I really want this feedback. Next week, I'm probably going to do a follow-up to the show. Probably do. I'm gonna go somewhere. Last time when I took it to the streets, I went to Harlem. I'm probably gonna do something different. I'm probably gonna try my luck in Brooklyn. I just gotta wear my bulletproof vest because people in Brooklyn are savages. Or I'll probably go to the dirty Bronx, where they're with all their rap problems and stuff. Or I could go in the middle of nowhere and go to Staten Island, if I'm feeling adventurous. But that's the show. Hope you guys like it. Get back to me. This is Adam's theory. It's not just my theory. It's our theory.